I thought about making an all men's event, that it was an all men's audience, to basically get them into shape, make it clear and have a very blunt discussion. You guys need to help protect your household, your wife, your children, and your friends.
The goal of the event is to promote masculinity and mental health. Why do you think we've gotten kind of so off track with men being men?
A tragic amount of divorces happened from COVID. Politics were crazy, riots were happening. There was just a lot of mental tension for a lot of people. That started to come into the masculinity side, where there was this whole huge red pill, blue pill, alpha male thing that became disgusting and went too far aggressive on one side. And then on the other side, a lot of men became soft.
I am joined today by Dan Fleyshman. I am so thrilled to have this conversation. He is a serial entrepreneur, a movement builder. At just 23 years old, he became the youngest founder of a publicly traded company with his energy drink brand. And since then, he's launched multiple companies and even built one of the leading influencer marketing agencies. I really want to have that conversation. He invests in startups. He has a nonprofit. I love the nonprofit because it's something that I actually do, but not nearly on the scale that you do, which is to make backpacks for homeless people. He is now channeling his energy into the Man in the Arena Tour, a movement designed to help men step fully into their lives. So I can't wait to talk about that. Welcome to my podcast,
Thank you. I
Dan.
appreciate it. I'm excited you're doing this.
So I normally just dive right in because
go.
my topic is strategic reinvention. And
Yeah.
I know that's a topic that you've talked some about. You say the bad things literally forged who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to me about, what that worst moment in your life felt like?
Yep. It was April 19th and April 15th. So April 15th, 2011 was something called Black Friday. The entire online poker market was shut down at 10:10 in the morning. And I remember it so vividly, and I can give you dates and times because it was such a major impact in my life. I lost $65 million company like that at 10:10 in the morning. Literally the day before, I was flying in from a place called Malta to Las Vegas. I'm going to meet this billionaire guy. He owned the Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy slot machines. A very wealthy guy in the gaming space, and I had an online poker site. I'm so excited for this meeting. It's been months since I've even been to America. I'm going to go see him at the Hard Rock Hotel at 12 p.m. And at 10:10 a.m., my phone starts going crazy because all over the news, CNN, ESPN, everywhere, that online poker just was seized billions of dollars by the FBI.
Oh,
I went to my poker site and didn't say that. On the other poker sites, it literally says seized by the FBI. It was wild. And so in that moment, it was chaos, just like in the background.
I know. They're doing construction conveniently right outside where we're
and that's
doing
why we got
this
to talk through the
podcast.
adversity. And so I go to this meeting at 12 o'clock and I meet with this billionaire. And immediately, right when I walk in there, he looks at me, he's like, man, he looks like somebody died. And I was like, well, the whole online poker industry just ended today. Turn on the news. He turns on the news and there it is, all over the news, billions of dollars seized. So why I say all that, I'll make the story a bit shorter, is that moment I manually paid back 41,000 players the next 4 days. Manually paid back. And my competitors were all dead or in jail, unfortunately. They just had $3-4 billion seized from them, from players' funds. And so it was a very sad, scary moment in the online poker market. But from that happening, I started becoming a consultant for gaming companies, a consultant for banking companies. I started my social media agency, which I still have 14 years later. I started my charity, which I still have 14 years later. I started throwing live events. So by losing the $65 million company overnight, the butterfly effect is 6 million items have been given to the homeless. Hundreds of millions of dollars has gone to influencers for paid media and for marketing. I've thrown hundreds of events and charity events and business events. None of those things would have happened if I was still doing my poker site. And so you have to stay calm in the chaos.
Yeah. But I'm sure there was that moment there whenever your stomach was in your throat that you kind of felt like, holy shit, what am I going to do now?
So the way I call it is, don't sit on the floor and cry about it. If I would have gave into that moment and sat on the floor, I would have had a lot to cry. I would have had 65 million reasons to cry that day. Because literally April 19th, I have an exit happening. I'm getting a big wire 4 days later. I booked out a whole resort in Costa Rica, flying in everyone from all over the world to this resort for this big launch to get this wire, to do a whole marketing campaign. and I lost it all on April 15th. But if I would have sat on the floor and cried, I might have jumped, right? A lot of people did pass away.
Right.
People did commit suicide.
Right.
People were killed. A lot of crazy stuff happened because of billions of dollars were on the line getting seized. And so if I would have given in to it, I don't know what would have happened. And so when I say don't sit on the floor and cry about it, by staying busy and jumping right back into business, jumping right back into, all right, how do we fix it? Let's pay off all the players. Let's make the announcements. Let's fix this, like close down this corporation. By getting into work mode, I actually didn't have that emotional thing to it because I blinked my eyes and it was weeks later. I was just immersed into the business. And if I would just sat there and went under the blankets and cried like I should have or could have, I don't know that I would have fixed anything. I don't know what would happen in the future.
What do you think gave you that grit or that particular quality of your personality that's different than so many people when they're in that darkest moment of their life, that so many of us, me included, tend to sit there and cry about it? What made you different?
I just knew that if I was consumed by it, and I had multiple people pass away, and it's hard because the first few times I was like bawling my eyes out, and I don't want to say that I'm numb to it or cold to it, but I realized if I stayed at home for the 9 hours and cried it out, I wasn't moving forward and I wasn't helping that person. I wasn't spreading the message for them and telling their friends, hey, let's plan the funeral. Let's do this thing. Let's make a memorial. Let's make a social media post about them. Like getting into work mode helped me move forward. You have a big breakup with a girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife, getting back out there, getting into life and staying busy instead of sitting. If you sit at home and cry for the next 3 weeks, you gave them what they wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Compared to you going back out, I'm not saying you have to date the next day, but you going back out into life and hanging out with your friends, going to work, going hiking, just immersing yourself back into life, you're going to progress a lot faster and get over those situations. Because all those situations we just mentioned are going to happen to you. You're going to have breakups. You're going to have losses. You're going to have businesses fail. You're going to have lawsuits. You're going to have people that leave you. You're going to have employees. Like things are going to happen in your life no matter what. I don't care who you are, how famous, how rich, how perfect people think you are going to go through these things, especially as you scale through life. And so how you handle it determines how you move forward. And so for me, I just knew going in, if I waste all this time giving into the past, I'm not moving forward. And I know that I will get over the situation, which I can't fix. When my friends pass away, I can't bring them back.
Right.
When the poker market gets shut down by the FBI, I can't bring it back. When I lose certain things, I know I can't bring back. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to try to fix it and move forward.
That's amazing insight, especially for people who are in those moments, because I think it's so easy to just get bogged down in it. You know, my grandmother you said about when you lose your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever. My grandmother used to tell me when I was a young girl, she would say, well, if you lose one puppy, you should go get another puppy. And she wasn't talking about puppies.
Yeah.
And I just always thought, oh, grandma,
Yeah, for sure.
But
grandma's always right.
But right. I mean, she had a point.
Mhm.
If you lose one man, you just go find another one, I guess.
So
Don't cry about it.
we see this happen often. Like sometimes we're like scared to fire an employee, like they're never getting another job. We stick with that girlfriend or boyfriend for years extra, like they're never going to find another girlfriend or boyfriend. They're going to find a girlfriend or boyfriend. They're going to find another job. I pinky swear. They all are. They're going to be okay. And we hold on like we're protecting them or protecting ourselves and not wanting the friction. You have to fire fast. You have to rip the Band-Aid off. If you're not going to date to marry, break up. If you're not going to keep this employee for years, break up.
Yeah.
You are going to be helping them more by letting them find someone that they are going to be able to marry. If you're not going to marry them, you're going to find someone a better job or career. If you're not going to keep them for long term, don't take their good years.
Well, you also talk about as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, almost just expecting the bad things to happen.
It's guaranteed.
Because it's going to happen.
Guaranteed.
Because, I mean, you're just never going to have a perfect day.
It's literally not possible. When things are scaling, things break. When you go from 2 employees to 6 employees, 6 employees to 20, you don't have drama in office situations when there's 2 employees because there's not enough people to date and argue and yell at each other. But when there's 20, there is. When there's 84, there is. When there's 200, there is. The same thing happens in all aspects of life. When you live in a 1-bedroom apartment, stuff doesn't really break. When you get a 6-bedroom house and you got a backyard and a pool, what happens? Stuff breaks.
The pool heater is going to break.
Exactly. And so it's guaranteed without question. Something's going to happen with the roof. Something's going to happen with the plumbing. Something's going to happen with the kitchen. Something's going to happen with the stove. It's just part of real life. If you get emotional every time something breaks in your life, oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah,
it'd be a basket case.
or when they do construction
Right, we
outside
just
the
gotta talk
conference
through
room,
it.
we're gonna
Exactly.
do a podcast in. So your recent thing that you're doing is this Man in the Arena tour,
Yep.
and what I read was that you had this idea in the notes section of your phone for a
Yep.
long time,
Yeah.
and it finally has come to fruition.
Yep.
So tell me about, I know about the Theodore Roosevelt quote, one of my favorites. So tell me about kind of how that came about.
So the Man in the Arena, that quote has been stuck in my head for many years. Because I watch people yell at people on social media or argue on social media or talk crap about someone like Jeff Bezos donates $970 million.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, that's not that much money to him. What?
What?
You know how many billionaires donated
Yeah.
zero? All
Yeah.
of them. The rest of
Yeah.
the billionaires donated zero.
Yeah.
And so that's the Man in the Arena, right? Bezos is the Man in the Arena. People talk crap about Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and Dana White and all these characters that have helped forge different niches and categories in our world. And all these people talk bad about the person that's actually in the arena.
From the stands.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not in the arena.
Exactly. And so that concept stuck with me. And then I thought about making an all men's event, that it was an all men's audience, to basically get them into shape, make it clear and have a very blunt discussion. You guys need to help protect your household, your wife, your children, and your friends. There's these 4 things in your world, and that ultimately leads to your community. And that we are in a society, especially now, these last few years, that we have very weak men. And that's happened either through media or through talking or through discussion, through social media, whatever the factors are, it has happened at scale, or we're just noticing it now more than ever. And so I wanted to find the perfect character to be the lead for this thing. So I have 42 events throughout the year that I throw, but all of them are in partnership with someone, right? Someone that's, how do I say it? The quarterback or the face of that brand.
The quarterback of the
Yes.
event. Right.
So Vina Jetty's here with us. She has a real estate mastermind.
Yeah.
She's the perfect face for it. She's done over $1 billion in real estate. She already had her mastermind. I'm just gasoline on her fire.
Yeah.
She's already doing the real estate mastermind. So when it came to the Man in the Arena tour,
you got Garrett White.
Yeah. Garrett White has already coached 70,000 men for 13 years. And so I'm sitting on his couch, and his wife and the kids are running around. I'm sitting with a brand new baby, and I look at him. We'd been there for 4 hours. I'm like, you're the one. I didn't give him any context.
Yeah.
Right? He's sitting next to his wife. I kind of looked over at her like, what?
Right.
I just said, you're the one.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me show you something. I pull out my phone and I show him the notes. And it literally breaks down what the concept of Man in the Arena is. And he was like, oh my God, I've been thinking about doing large format events. I've been coaching and doing my events for years, more like mastermind bootcamp style. I've been thinking about doing large events. This is crazy timing that you're showing me this. And he had just moved into Miami from Orange County.
Right.
That was right around New Year's. Well, in May, basically April, May, we threw, let's call it 100 days later, a multi-thousand person event inside of the Maverick Center Arena in Salt Lake City.
Right.
And we're doing it again November 8th at the Merit Bank Arena in Fort Lauderdale. And so from an idea on the notes on my phone to finding the perfect person, whether that's Vina Jetty for real estate, whether that's Garrett White for men, finding that perfect character and then helping propel them into what they already are.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So the goal of the event is to promote masculinity and mental health.
Yes.
But it sounds like there's a component of that is to bring back men to being men.
Yes.
Why do you think we've gotten kind of so off track with men being men?
So it's been a crazy couple of years since COVID. I think that was the most eye-opening moment for our whole world. A tragic amount of divorces happened from COVID. People were, the mindsets, the mind frame.
You may not know this. I'm a divorce lawyer.
I know,
too.
yeah, very well. And the situation that have arisen, so many of my friends have gone through divorces that were in 12-year, 14-year, 17-year relationships, and it's boggled a lot of our minds. Like, no, we don't want to, like, Bean and I are friends with them. Like, I don't want them to get divorced. But a lot stemmed from those couple of years, when people were trapped in their houses and politics were crazy, riots were happening. There was just a lot of mental tension for a lot of people. And so that started to come into the masculinity side, where there was this whole huge red pill, blue pill, alpha male thing that became disgusting and went too far aggressive on one side. And then on the other side, a lot of men, it became soft. And we watched it happen at a very big scale. And so what Garrett was doing by teaching these men about the family, the household, the wife, even his podcast is called Date Your Wife.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
because so many men take for granted what they got. They would have done anything to get the first date with their girlfriend. They would have done anything they could to finally propose to the girl. They finally get the wife. They have the 2 kids, and then they become complacent.
Right. I love when he talks about complacency
Mhm.
in a marriage. I've heard him talk about that before.
And so that's, I feel like, just from the component of what we've seen in the media, what we've seen in reality, and the fact that now with social media, so there's media and then there's social media, 2 different things. Media is what we're hearing from TV and from the news.
Right.
Social media is what the context of what people are seeing on through content. That social media has basically put a lens and eyeballs on what's happened with masculinity, and some of it was always there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that have happened in our society that were always there. It's just now we've magnified it.
And do you think that some of what we're seeing in television shows or whatever, like Yellowstone or some of that kind of television programming, is reflecting the masculine movement in society, or is it bringing back the masculine movement in society?
I mean, the number 1 character on Yellowstone is Rip, right? As far as him protecting
Oh,
his
I know.
girl.
Oh, I'm well
Yeah,
aware.
exactly. And so, I mean, I went and bought a ranch, right? after literally
Did you
after
buy a
that show.
cowboy hat? Do
Yeah,
you know where to
absolutely.
buy it?
Absolutely. My
You know,
video,
in Fort Worth right here is where they buy those cowboy hats that they wear.
my video tomorrow, you'll see me wearing a cowboy hat.
Excellent.
Yep.
Did you get it at the right
filmed
place?
it. Yeah. That's
Fort Worth?
it's a great cowboy
Yeah,
hat.
yeah.
And so that, how do I say it? People gravitated toward it because Beth was allowed to be the wild woman and the
Yeah,
wild
see,
cat.
I strive to be Beth. She is my favorite
See?
character, yeah.
And for him to try to control his wildcat, and
Yeah.
you know, when she would get wild, he's like, "Listen to me. I'm the man. I'm here to protect you," and let her go through her emotional swings. And he was there through the good times and the bad for
Yeah.
decades with that
Right.
with that girl. And so, I think that was such a great showcasing of the manly men type thing. Without, I'm not talking about the alpha male side. I'm talking about controlling a household, going through things together, the things that she went through in her life. If you watch the show, obviously what happened as a child when she was 13, like the things that, a lot of things happened in that show. And so I think watching what he did for her and was really good for men to see.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's been kind of in this societal thing we've got more life going on right outside the conference room. As feminism has kind of come on
Yep.
and the rise of women finding their power, which is kind of where I come from. I had a very strong mother, and I'm a strong woman. But I think that it's had maybe an effect of emasculating men, but that didn't necessarily need to happen, but it did. And now, we have this rise of masculinity, which is, I think, a good thing, because I think we can have powerful women
For sure.
and also powerful men. Like, women can be powerful women
Absolutely.
and men can be powerful men, and it's all a great thing.
And they can also do it at different times. A woman can be powerful out in the office and on stage and then still be at home and be submissive to her husband, or lead the household and he's submissive to her. When I say the alpha male or the strong man, he doesn't always have to be leading the household. There's some times that she is taking care of him, and she is taking care of the children, she is taking care of the household. And there's other times when they're out in society and she's the
Yeah.
one, she's the powerhouse. I think where some parts we lost our way is a couple years ago is where we decided that there was a third gender. There's not a third gender. It's not an emotional thing. It's not a political thing. It's just science and biology. If I go to the hospital, I'm either a man or a woman. I have certain chromosomes, and that's okay. And we lost it when people weren't sure if there's a man or a woman, or if there's, you look at the phone and there's pregnant men on there's actually more pregnant men on our Apple emojis than there's pregnant women. If you go to your phone right now, there's more pregnant men emojis than there's pregnant women. Do you know how delusional that is? There's never been a pregnant man in history, and there never will be. There's not.
Yeah.
And no one, and I can, if anybody wants to challenge me on it, okay,
No,
I'll offer you $1 million to get
biologically, it's a woman that
Yes.
gets pregnant.
And
but
it scares me when people want to go tell people about getting surgeries and spending hundreds of $1,000s and doing very dangerous surgeries, and like that. It's not okay. It's not okay. We need to protect our children. We need to protect the reality of the fact that there is men and women, and there's no choosing of the gender part. That is part of your sexuality as you're born. No one was born in the wrong body. And can you have different sexual preferences? That's perfectly fine. But you're not, your biology is your biology, and there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
And making it seem like are you a man, woman, or unspecified? There's no such thing. there's just no such thing about it. And there's no politics to this. There's no emotion to this. It's literally just biology. And so when we go to American Airlines and try to book a flight and it says unspecified, that shouldn't be an option. And luckily, some platforms are taking that away. And I don't want people to get confused, especially children, to get confused about that.
Yeah.
It's scary, the concept of it. It's nothing about sexual preference. It's nothing about transgender. It's nothing about those type of things. It's
Sure.
literally about the biology of our society, that people making it okay to say,
Right.
oh, I'm unspecified. You're literally not unspecified.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have an issue with it when it comes to the children,
For sure.
especially because children just aren't developed enough to know. I mean, I didn't know.
I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid.
Yeah, I know.
And then I want to be a fireman.
I know.
How can I choose? I want to change my sex.
I
That's
wanted to
crazy.
be I wanted to be a football player when I was a child, and back then, I mean, there were no female football players back when I was, and then I wanted to be a broadcast journalist for calling football. And back in the day when I was that age, there weren't any female of those either, you know. And so I just don't think we know what we want to be, or who we are, or even really that we should even be thinking about sexuality, you know, until you're
Right.
grown and your brain is
For sure.
developed. And then I don't know, you know, if you want to go have some surgery and change your body, I mean, plenty of us women change parts of our bodies,
Sure.
you know, and that's your business and between you and whoever. But yeah, but I do question, you know,
An
when they're
8-year-old?
children,
Yes.
of course. But you know, for me in the family unit, you know, I think it comes down to like Elena Cardone. I was at her ladies conference this weekend. She talks about roles. Like,
Yes.
I think it comes down to everybody has their strengths and their
Mhm.
weaknesses. And when you know, two people come together in a marriage, like you said, it can be two men, two women,
Sure.
a man and a woman, whatever. Like, people need love, and wherever you find love is great. But I think it comes down to filling the strengths and weaknesses roles, you know. And I can be strong and good at some things, and my partner can be good at other things, and we can complement each other.
Absolutely.
And I think as long as we, you know, recognize those strengths in each other, that's the power couple,
Yes.
right? That's where you just can really dominate.
I'm scared for the family unit itself, because it's such an important part of our society that we grew up with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are trying to mess with the fabric of it, of the concept of it. You saw my emotion when I was talking about my friends getting divorced. I don't
Yeah.
want them to get divorced. I love the idea of husband and wife. Well, again, it can be husband, wife. I actually don't care about sexual preferences, but let's just call husband and wife, you know, 2 kids, a dog, and a white picket fence. I love that for people, because for the most of society, that's the dream.
Mhm.
And a lot of that fabric has gone away because of dating apps and hookup culture, and I don't need a man to do this, and you don't need a girl to do this, and I could be with a bunch of girls, and you could do this, and I could just go on Tinder. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
things are bombarding our, you know, young people's minds.
We could probably have a whole podcast, you and I, talking about that topic, because I
Yeah.
have so many opinions. I mean, I've been primarily in the divorce space for 30 years. I
Mhm.
mean, now I mostly represent business owners in crisis, whether that's business crisis or personal crisis. But having been primarily in the divorce space for 30 years, you know, I mean, I've seen all of that.
For sure.
And I've always felt a little bit of consternation about it, because I don't necessarily personally believe that marriage ought to be that easy to just hop out of.
Sure.
But it's also not my judgment, right? That's between somebody else and their whoever. But you know, but people, I think, do, you know, kind of hop into marriage easy and hop out of marriage
Mhm.
easy. And
Unless you're in California, it's really hard.
well, it is a little harder in some states. Texas is pretty easy, but you know, but it shouldn't be just that
Sure.
simple to make a vow to God and then unvow,
Right.
you know. And when you look at the stats, you know, the average marriage in America is 7 years.
So I have an interesting stat about that. So every 7 years on average, we change as humans.
Yeah, your whole
Y-
body changes
yeah,
over your
think
cellular
about-
structure.
Think about your 16-year-old self. Would you hang out with your 23-year-old self?
No,
Would your 23-year-old self hang out with your 30-year-old
No.
self? We're different people,
right.
right? So when you're 9 and you're 16, you wouldn't hang out with a 9-year-old. When you're 16 and 23, you wouldn't hang out with a high school kid when you're 23. And so when people think about that, when we change and evolve, sometimes the person we're dating or married to can't adjust to it.
Yeah.
And the person we loved at 23 is not the same person at 30. And unless you're willing to adjust with them over the course of life, because there's going to be another 7 years and another 7 years, you're not going to make it.
Right.
And so it's been wild to see how many people have gotten divorced at 7 years and the 14-year mark.
That is an interesting corollary, between the cellular regeneration, and the marriage turnover. I've never thought of it that way. You've opened my eyes to an interesting thought today. That's interesting. So you say about the Man in the Arena tour, you said that the event brought a lot of truths about men to the surface. What was one truth that stood out to you?
How badly they needed other men.
I like that.
We hold it all inside. It's weak for us to talk to people about it. It's weak for us to tell our wife about it. It's weak for us to tell our friends about it. It's weak for us to have any problems. We're just supposed to shut up and take it. We're supposed to be the household provider for our wife, our children, our job, our employees. Everyone around us is dependent on our actions. And so how dare we say we're going through a tough day, or this thing is hard, or we're confused. We can't do that. It's not an option. Otherwise we'll get abused. And so what Garrett White has done is he's made a realization that you can be, and you have to be, and you should be open with people that you respect to listen to as well. And so he literally made men in the arena at the Maverick Center stare each other in the eyes and talk about it. What is going on in your household? What is going on with your divorce? What is going on with your reconciliation? What is going on with the new girl you're dating? What is going on with your children? When's the last time you saw your kids? Are you having real life discussions with other men that you respect? And why I say you respect, you're oftentimes, if you try to get advice from someone that you don't respect, you're not going to take it. Or if you tell someone something, you're just a sounding board and they're not going to reciprocate any information to you. These guys, especially in this audience, are mostly business owners and entrepreneurs. And so the weight of the world is on their shoulders. And in this environment we want them to become friends. We want them to get each other's phone numbers. We want them to network with each other. We make time for it throughout the day so that this happens. And now fast forward, it's been a couple months. These guys are on trips together. They're friends together. They've, it's very powerful. And I've watched, there's other men's groups out there that are, and I've watched what they've done, and I've watched them change lives, and I've watched them fix households. And when I say fix households, sometimes they do need to get a divorce. Not fixing a household not only is to fix it, sometimes they're not right for each other, or they are things that are going on behind the scenes. But watching this men's group, what we're doing on a arena side, and watching some of my friends' men's group, it is powerful, because when you fix a man, you fix a whole community. If you fix that man and he becomes better in his business and better in his household and better with his wife and better with his kids, the butterfly effect is so powerful.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because my next question was going to be about the ripple effect, but you already answered that. I mean, that it would have a ripple effect in the whole community.
And by the way, all these same things apply to women as well. It's just that women actually talk with each other.
Yeah.
Some of them are competing with each other, so there's certain things that they won't say, or when they say it, they're making it look better, or they're complaining. Sometimes it might be on a bigger spectrum, but at least they're talking. But men are not talking at all.
But don't you think for women, you're focusing on men with that event, talking about their mental health, basically. Women are really good about talking about their mental health, but you know what? Women are not very good at their financial health. And the statistics for women, especially women who are divorced or single mothers, their financial health is terrible. And it's there needs to be a solution to that problem, because that's the problem that I'm dealing in. Is in that financial health arena for women. I think that I have a core belief that entrepreneurship is one of the ways of pulling women who are single moms, newly divorced, have been on career breaks. Entrepreneurship is a way to help them overcome those financial problems.
So there's a main reason for it is lack of information or lack of access to information. And so if women are not going to talk about what they spend in their budget with their friend, their best friend for 21 years, they don't talk about how much their mortgage is, how much they spend on their hair, makeup, fashion, how much they spend for their kids, how much they spend for fitness. They don't go over a budget of like, hey, my overhead is $4,700 a month. You would never say that to your friend of 21 years. Right. Because we grew up thinking it's rude to talk about money. The whole reason I have my podcast is to talk about money, so that's not rude to talk about it. But if you think about it, think about your longest friends. Have you ever sat down and gone over your overhead together? No. Have you ever sat down like, hey, during your divorce, you got $1.4 million. What's your overhead now? Are you investing that capital, or you put any money in the S&P 500? Did you buy any Bitcoin? That's not a discussion you would have, because it's rude to talk about it. That's how we thought for all these years. And so what happens if someone gets a divorce and they receive the 1.4 million? How are they going to go invest in real estate? How are they going to invest in the S&P 500? They can't spell it. They don't know what the S&P is.
Yeah.
They have no idea what we're talking about because there's lack of information or access to information because they don't talk about with their friends or people around them. And so when you think about the concept of also what became popularized those last few years is 4 words. I'm just a girl. This saying has caught on so high. Like, no, you can be a powerful woman. You don't have to be just a girl or just a passenger princess all the time.
Right.
You can still be a boss too. And that only happens through information because information leads to people being strong and passionate about something. When you feel confident when you have information. And so the main that Lisa Bilyeu says is information breeds confidence. You become powerful when you know something. If I asked you right now, hey, do you want to play chess? And you're like, I don't know, I've never played chess before. But if you got training for 4 hours before we played, you'd be like, yeah, let's play some chess.
Yeah.
If I say, hey, do you want to play poker? You're like, you. But if you learn how to play poker the last 20 years because your dad and mom taught you, you're like, heck yeah, let's play some poker.
Right.
Information breeds confidence.
Yeah.
So if you knew how to play chess or you knew how to play poker, or you knew how to play pickleball, whatever the game is, you wouldn't be scared to play against me. You'd crush me, right? Because you have confidence. Most women don't have financial confidence because they have lack of information.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, a lot of women though that get divorced, I mean, the stat, I actually in my Substack this week, I wrote an article about the number one way for women to become in poverty is motherhood.
Wow.
The number one way for a woman to be in poverty is motherhood. Become a mother and your statistics of being in poverty go up. 39% of single mothers are in poverty. And, and you're right. Is it a lack of education? Yes, but it's also the fact that they take more career breaks.
Sure.
They also get punished in the workplace
Mhm.
in silent ways because they're mothers.
Yep.
Fathers get raises because they're fathers. Women get punished, get, demoted, they get passed over because they're mothers. And, and the career breaks set them back.
Sure. There's 1 to 2 years off.
Yeah, at least,
Yeah.
if not more. And, and so there's all sorts of ways that in the workplace women get punished. And then, women tend to be more in the job space, not in the entrepreneurial space. They also are more conservative in their investments.
Mhm.
And so there's like all these kind of societal silent ways that women are being set back, some of them of their own making or
Sure.
because of lack of education, and they don't seek out the education or they're afraid of the investments, but it still is affecting them. And then women live longer than men.
Mhm.
And so they're living longer with less resources and more dependency.
Yep.
And it's really obviously I've gotten off on a tangent, but it's obviously something that I'm passionate about
Yep.
because it's a dichotomy, where men are strong in the finances but weak in the mental health. Women are better at mental health but weaker in the finances. So if we're not going to have a strong family unit, which is obviously the ideal, then we've got kind of a broken family unit and we've got problems on both sides.
Hopefully we can make families cool again.
Well, that'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome. Whenever you get to the end of the Man in the Arena tour, what is the thing in your private moments that you hope to have accomplished? What's your big win from that tour?
The butterfly effect of those men going back to their households and going back to their offices and going back to their communities. Because it doesn't go away, right? If you teach someone how to go fix their office and how to fix their staff and how to fix their confidence and how to fix their relationship with their kids, that's not a 1 day or 1 week or 1 month thing. If they actually learn from it, it's for life.
Yeah.
And I would never know the results of that person's relationship with their daughter now, or fixing their household with their wife, or scaling their company from 8 employees to 26 employees. I'll never actually know about it personally. I just know the butterfly effect is happening.
Right.
And so the fact that I know that if Garrett White and myself and my speakers and friends, and we go out there and we put this into men and they are actionable results, I know the butterfly effect of it because I've watched it. I've watched what Garrett's done with some of my friends over the years. I've watched what other friends that have done it with their men in their circles and their groups. I've watched it happen. That's why I'm so passionate about it. I want to throw this event every month. It costs $1.6 million to throw.
Yeah.
One. So this is a big decision to go
Right.
throw these events and hope
Right.
that it works out and gamble that it works out. But I know that if it works at scale and we have 2,000 men here, 4,000 men here, 3,000 men here. By the end of the year, we've had 25,000 men, for example, in our rooms,
And you've influenced
and their
them.
phones are out talking about it. That means that hundreds of millions of people are seeing it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if they see David Goggins there, and they see this speaker there, and they see all these guys, the muscle, and all these characters up on stage, and they are talking about this discussion about the man in the arena. By the way, I want to have a women's version as well. It's called Runs the World, which is the one I'm going to be doing next year. Because I'm passionate about the same concept. I want women to go do those things in their households. I want them to be financially confident.
Right.
I don't want it in our minds that I'm just a girl or that they don't know anything about finances.
100%.
Women are wicked smart. I have women running more companies than I do men. I would love for women to be CEOs way more than men. Way more.
Yeah.
They are so detail-oriented, so efficient, so communicative.
Yeah.
I could go on and on for why I want. The company I'm raising for right now, a funding round for, is called Tampon Tribe. She does millions of dollars for a healthier version of tampons. Literally, I'm going to be talking about it a lot on social media coming up. Obviously, I don't utilize tampons. I'm passionate about her because of the lives she's changed by making a better tampon.
Yeah.
And now she's getting hotel chains and all these things. So I'm going to help raise her millions of dollars for a company. I'm sure Vina's going to help me do it because she's passionate about helping women in business. To me, this is like, I am so excited to help another woman go scale her business because the butterfly effect. Again, I will never know what happens in those households and in that travel and what happens from having a better version of tampon. But she also does 1-for-1. She then gives it to people that can't afford it.
Right.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I love that. So I want to talk for just a minute about your marketing agency and your perspectives on social media marketing. I love that you talk about being authentic in how you appear on social media. Where do you think that society changed from seeing, marketing or ads as this perfect thing, this perfection, to seeing marketing and ads and social media as, imperfection?
Yep. So the words I like to say is perfect is not relatable. When you see that perfect photoshopped image, or you see that perfect baby on Instagram, or you see that perfect couple just smiling perfect, like, we feel it. We know it because we know there's not a perfect couple. We know there's no perfect baby. Babies make messes. Being in a relationship is messy. Things happen in real life. So when
construction happens.
Exactly. And so when you showcase the baby spilling over the milk and throwing the cereal bowl, you will have much higher engagement than the perfect smiling baby. When the couple talks about the things that are going on, their flight got delayed, this happened at the hotel, but we're so happy we finally got to our perfect honeymoon, that's going to have way more engagement than perfect honeymoon. Like, talking about the real life things that go on is much more relatable than everything is perfect.
Yeah. When do you think that switched, though? Because it feels like, to me, at least in my lifetime, or maybe we just didn't know we wanted to see imperfect, because it feels like there was always the perfect commercial and the perfect everything.
Yep.
And that's what we were fed. And then all of a sudden, somewhere along the way, it just switched and we're like, oh, wow, that's cool,
So the #1 selling magazine and newspaper, if you notice, at every single grocery store and 7-Eleven and every chain store in the country is the National Enquirer, which is fake. However, it gives people a reprieve from their life. Seeing, like, Tom Cruise is dating an alien who was reincarnated as Michael Jackson. You're like, oh my God, I gotta read that.
I got to see that because it's not perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the covers, and you're going to start to notice this now, I'm sorry for everyone listening, but you're going to start noticing this now when you're at the grocery store checkout, look to your left and you're going to see those tabloids that are literally false.
Right.
But people want to see Kim Kardashian's actually dating Tom Brady's twin brother that no one knew existed.
Right.
And he came from planet Mars.
Right.
That is for us because we want to have a little bit of like, oh yeah, that celebrity's not perfect. Kim Kardashian, she's not perfect.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, he's not perfect.
He's like us.
Yeah.
He's like us. He puts his underwear on just like I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. What books are you reading now?
Kim Perrell, her book came out literally this week. And so Mistakes That Made Me a Millionaire. And so I've been literally going with her on her book tour to help because I just passionate about women entrepreneurs going. There's a book that I reread every year or two, which is the famous book by Napoleon Hill, that I just think that Think and Grow Rich is something that, even though it's such an old school book, it has such principles in it. And because it's so like, it's quite a thick book, I could reread the whole thing and still catch something that I didn't notice before, or it became relevant to something now in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I read Think and Grow Rich for Women by Sharon Lechter. Same concept, just the women's side of it.
She went and bought a ranch too. She's great.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yeah, I love her. She's been on my podcast too. What book, well, you probably already answered this. I was going to ask you what book has meant the most to you.
Yeah, Think and Grow Rich for sure.
Yeah. What podcast do you listen to the most?
So Ed Milet, because he has really great ways of talking to people, and he gets really interesting guests. Lewis Howes is obviously one of the best at asking the questions.
Yeah.
And so I love watching him. I like the style of Jay Shetty where he gets the more of an emotional breakdown from people and like will talk more spiritual and emotional with people. The All In podcast is interesting.
I love All In.
Yeah, it's so fascinating just watching these bazillionaires argue with each other, but still be friends, but still kind of frenemies.
And on Zoom. I just love the four picture. Yeah.
I think Steven from Diary of a CEO is doing a great job. I mean, I think he has like 40 people working on his podcast. Like he's passionate.
Yeah, he spends a lot of money on that podcast, but I love the cinematography of it.
Yeah. And so I'm picking and choosing based on who they're interviewing or if they're solo episodes. Obviously Cody Sanchez, like there's certain characters like I just want to hear their thought process. Even when they're interviewing a guest that might be on the podcast tour, I want to hear this person interview this person, right? So someone might be on 20 podcasts, but I want to hear Cody Sanchez ask them a question, or Ed Milet ask them a question, or Andy Frisella ask them a question. Like I want someone that, so I know what I'm getting into when I go to listen to it. And it's almost like if you go to your favorite bar or nightclub or restaurant, like I know when I go to this restaurant, I know the type of food I'm getting.
Right.
If I go to Carbone, I'm getting this type of pasta. I know if I go to listen to Andy Frisella, I know what he's going to be going after. And if I go to Ed Milet, I know what he's going to go after.
Right, right. At the end of the day, if today were it and that was all you had left and God was calling you home today, what would you want your legacy to be known for?
Charity. I want people to replicate my charities. I don't need them to donate. I've been trying to show people how they can do charity in a very realistic way. From the world's largest toy drive to backpacks for the homeless to the $100 tipping club, all these different charity things that I do. One called 2 Years Too Long, where you give out clothes from your closet. If it's been more than 2 years, give it away. These are all easy things. It's clothes from your closet, tipping extra at the restaurant, giving some supplies to the homeless, giving toys to kids. It's not rocket science what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make it on a grand scale so people can see it, watch it, replicate it, like be part of it. And so charity is what I really want people to, I want people to go out and do it, because charity became a bad word in our society for some weird reason. People look at it as like a scam, or not, the money doesn't always go to the right things.
Right.
That's why I run my charities on what's called a 0%. 100% that gets donated goes to it. And I don't actually need you to donate money. I need you to donate your time and energy to it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love the homeless backpacks. I think that, so often, with the homeless, people don't understand what they really need. They need socks.
It's number 2 most requested item.
They need soft versions of protein.
Yep.
And something that has probably salt or some sort of electrolytes in it.
We have a whole pack of salt. We have 150 items in our backpacks, and we studied what you just said.
Yeah.
We interviewed homeless people. We interviewed 25 homeless people and 25 military. And we said, if you were dropped off in the desert, what are the 150 items that you'd want? And socks was number 2.
Yeah.
And number 1 wasn't even on our list.
What was it?
Duct tape.
Oh, wow.
The overwhelming answer was duct tape.
Interesting.
I didn't even have it on the list of 150.
And I think, the times where I've worked with women's groups or whatever, where we've done, bags for the homeless or whatever, people tend to want to donate a toothbrush and toothpaste. And it's like, they don't have water, or they don't have the ability to go wash themselves, because most places are not going to let them come use the bathroom.
Yep.
And, female products, the tampons or whatever. I mean, the women that are homeless do need those.
Absolutely. It's critical.
That, so that is something that is needed. But I love that. And I love the donating clothes, because I Marie Kondo my closet pretty often.
Yep.
And get rid of it.
Yep. 2 years too long.
It's not bringing me joy anymore. Get on with it, So, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I am just so honored and humbled that you would join me and talk about the things that are important to you.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you so much.